Consistency is king in CrossFit. Justin Medeiros stays steady to bring home his second straight title of fittest on earth. Roman and Ricky were worth the wait, and memorable moments highlight one of the closest competitions in years. We look back at the men's side at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games next on Game Central. Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Game Central. I'm Sean Woodland, and today we're taking a look back at the men's competition at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games, and it featured one of the closest battles we have seen. All three spots were up for grabs on the podium going into the final day, and this is how it all ended up. Justin Medeiros becomes just the third man to repeat as CrossFit Games champion. He edges out Roman Krenikov by 27 points. It's the closest finish between first and second on the men's side since 2019, when Matt Fraser beat Noah Olson by 35 points. But remember, that was a variable scoring system, so you really need to go back to 2015 when Ben Smith beat Matt Fraser by 36 points to find something that close. Ricky Garard returns to action after his 4-year suspension, and he takes third. Justin Medeiros has not been dominant the last 2 years, but he has been extremely consistent. In both his championship seasons, he has won a total of just one event, the last one in 2021, but he has only finished outside the top 10 4 times in that same span. His worst event finish came this year in shuttle to overhead part A when he took 18th. Roman Krenikov has been waiting since 2018 to finally get a chance to compete at the games in person, and he did not disappoint. Krenikov won 2 events and had a great final day of competition. He even beat Justin Medeiros in 2 of the final 3 events and looked like he was going to take him in the back 9, but a rest on the final yoke carry allowed Medeiros to pass him late. Ricky Garard also made the most of his first appearance in Madison since he tested positive for PEDs at the end of the 2017 games. Gerrard also won a pair of events and was the overall leader for a majority of the competition, but after a great start, he slowed towards the end. He never finished higher than 7th over the final 6 events. Another man who made the most of his opportunity was Nick Mathew. He got to the CrossFit Games due to a backfill spot because of a failed drug test. And in what was a huge surprise to anyone not related to him, Mathew wound up bringing home Rookie of the Year honors for the men. He took 14th overall. He had a pair of highlight moments in the Coliseum. Mathew won the skill speed medley on Wednesday night and then tied for first in the sandbag ladder on Saturday night. While Nick Mathew had plenty of memorable moments, there were a lot more that took place over the 5 days of competition at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games. And here with his top 5 moments is Tommy Marquez.
Thanks, Sean. So many epic moments to choose from, ranging from Herculean efforts to moments that really captured the spirit of the competition that is the CrossFit Games. We could have easily gone 10 moments deep here, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to whittle it down to just 5, and here are the top 5. Starting with a moment that Sean mentioned just a second ago, but one of Nick Mathew's 2 event wins that propelled his Rookie of the Year status came on the skill speed medley. On the heels of the top women failing to finish the final round, Mathew is the first to complete all 25 crossovers and make it to the low P bars. And better yet, he nails the press to handstand and walk across the bars in his first go, much to the delight of the Coliseum as he earned himself a moment alone in the spotlight. Number 4 is Ricky Garard rising above the chaos that was the Capitol Steps. For most of the final section of what was an instant classic event, it looked like Roman Krenikov might pull away from the lead pack. But as athletes' legs, lungs, and grip began to fail them, Ricky Garard ducked his heels in and held onto the Husafeld bag just a little bit longer than the rest of them, passing Roman on the steps and eventually crossing the finish line and snatching his second event win on the doorsteps of the Capitol building and keeping the white leader's jersey squarely on his shoulders. Number 3, if there was a point where it felt like Justin Medeiros had his championship moment, it came on the final yoke carry during the back 9 event on Sunday. Coming in, Roman Krenikov was 23 points back of Medeiros in second and desperately needed to gain ground before the finale. For most of the way, it looked like Roman was going to do just that until he had to set down the yoke during the final 54-foot length. That opened the door for Medeiros, who went unbroken on the yoke to pass Roman, And in shades of the Run Clean event from last year with Pat Vellner and Brent Fikowski, Medeiros was able to rally in the final moments to turn a negative into a positive and gain ground on his closest competitors. Number 2 goes to number 2 overall on the men's side, Roman Krenikov, and his moment on the podium with his son. I get it, it's not competition, but you'd be hard-pressed to find an athlete that emotionally has sacrificed more to get to that point. After years of visa denials, he finally gets approved, but extenuating circumstances globally means he has to move immediately and leave his pregnant wife, only to miss the birth of his firstborn while keeping the dream alive of what they've worked for since 2018. It all culminates with his wife and his son getting their visas finally as well, and 3 days before he checks in for his first in-person CrossFit Games, he's reunited with his family and meets his son for the first time. Roman was a lightning rod all week and earned his place on the podium, but seeing him up there with his son, earmuffs on, after everything their family has persevered through, that right there, that's the good stuff, and it's deserving of a top moment. Bringing it back to action on the floor for the number 1 moment, let me paint you a picture. It's Saturday night, it's in the Coliseum, the lights are on, the entire CrossFit world is watching, and your top 3 men for the weekend are separated by just 15 points. Only 2 sandbags remain in the ladder, or so we thought, and Justin Medeiros, Roman Krenikov, and Ricky Garard are standing side by side, each with their own 330-pound sandbag in front of them. It felt like the fate of the weekend was hanging in the balance of those 3 sandbags, because as the last 3 to go, if any of them missed, they would lose some serious ground in an extremely rare scenario where the only 3 men with a legitimate chance to win were the only athletes on the floor competing with everything at stake. Medeiros and Gerrard would make the lift. Roman would eventually miss, but really the anticipation and electricity in the air as that hand signal went down for them to approach and lift was sports at its best, in my opinion, and a moment for the CrossFit Games that I'll never forget. Those are my top 5 moments from an amazing week of competition. And now, Sean, I gotta know, what was your top moment from the week?
Thank you, Tommy. All great moments, but mine has to be Tim Paulson on the Echo bike in the Echo Press event. Paulson got to the bike for the final time, needing to really push the pace in order to finish inside the time cap, and he went absolutely ballistic and cranked out 30 calories in 29 seconds. It was easily one of the most incredible things I have seen someone do inside the Coliseum, and that is why Tim Paulson is now known as the patron saint of full send. Action is still continuing out there in CrossFit land with a pair of licensed events that are coming up, one in North America and one in Europe. The one in North America is in Tampa, Florida. It's the Tampa Bay Games, August 27th through the 28th. And the Turun Tuomiopäivä takes place in Turku, Finland, August 26th through the 28th. That is going to do it for this edition of Games Central. I'm Sean Woodland. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.